The Highland Hills tower, the skies. But the shadows they cast draw the spirits near. After all, tomorrow's
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Friday night. I hope you're all having a fantastic Friday night. We're joined Drew, my co-host tonight. We're meant to be joined by Nando, but he's not come on yet. So I don't know if you're seeing this, Nando. Remember your appointment.
We want your company, Nando.
Aye, we wanted your company. What do you think of the kind of backdrop we've got? A kind of haunted ward going way up, and it Ghost Squad Scotland at the bottom.
Oh, I'm loving all the new what do you call them, thumbnails? I think they're all cool.
I can make you them, by the way. I've got the app and I pay for it, and I can make you them.
Brilliant. There you go. So my thumbnails will be changing, guys. I think Christopher that way is going to help me.
Aye. So obviously tonight, guys, we're talking about the infamous case of the Black Monk of Pontefract, right? It's an interesting case, this, because it's, as me and Drew were discussing before the show, there's so many similarities with the Enfield poltergeist. And there's so many similarities because there was a case in Scotland round about, I think it was 1965. And I'll show you this wee picture here. And this is just, I want you to show something for a minute here, because this is really, what's that? Hey, everyone from, everybody in the chat. So let's have a look here. So
who's all in tonight?
I've put in, right. So here we go. Right, this was a case in Scotland around about the same time, the share, whatever it's called, poltergeist, right? Which is near Glasgow somewhere. Don't ask me exactly where. We'll be talking about this on Wednesday. Now, if you notice, it's a council house, right? Now, if we go back to East Drive, it's a council house, right? Mm-hmm. And then if we go back to like the Enfield poltergeist, it's a council house. Is there something I'm missing here? They all seem to be. I know that these were quite a common building, right? I know these are quite a common building, especially
on the right-hand side as well.
Aye. It's always the end. It's I know they're both end blocks, but what I'm trying to say is there's something strange.
Yeah, very similar about them. Mm-hmm.
Now, as I say, I don't know that much about 30s East Drive, right? I've heard about it more. I've researched more the Enfield poltergeist. I found that fascinating.
Yeah,
I found that one fascinating. As last week, as we know, we did that show, and that was really interesting. But there's been that many things happened in it, right? And I'm going to bring them up. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen, if I'm about to offend people's ears. Listen, I'm in the same boat. I don't like them either. But I'm going to say, you ready for this? Most haunted, right?
My ears are napping.
I know I'm on fire. But anyway, Most Haunted, right? Most Haunted went there, and I watched the episode where the knives was getting chucked about, and I think, right, I'm going to say this to you. I think long ago when it first started, I think it was really active, right? And I think the guy that owns it now is a film producer or something. That's what I've learned. And he's made quite a bit of money out of this house. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, do you know you can actually rent it out for £89 a night? I think. What do you think, ladies and gentlemen? Do you think Ghost Squad Scotland?
That's a cheap one as well, though, because technically, if you look at all the places, they do actually start for about 300 right up. Yeah. So why is theirs so cheap?
It makes you wonder. I had to go to their website and read all the reviews, and some of the reviews, I don't know who's put them there, because there was a dark shadow and it came up to me with its hands out and it floated into the wall, and I'm like, next one.
But do you want to know what I find fascinating, though, Chris? Is the fact that there's always a teenage girl involved. There's somewhere along there's always a teenage girl. Now, does it just work off their hormones? Is it something about teenage girls? I mean, that girl get dragged up the stairs with her hair, I do believe. So, and also the clock gets through down the stairs and things. So, is there something with teenage girls' energies that is manifesting things? And it's strange.
See that's an interesting one. That we know with hauntings, in particular poltergeist hauntings, right? And obviously that's the German name for what is it, noisy spirit or something like that.
Yeah.
And what's it today with kids? Why do kids give, especially young girls, what is it they give off? I mean,
See, it's because they're coming between their young ages and their teenage ages, their bodies are changing, their hormones and things are rife. So technically that would be a beacon to any energies that's floating around. It would probably be like a big light bulb or something. Especially if it's on the kind of badder side, if you like.
Right, see that's interesting what my mystical living light says, right? And they're young,
because they're innocent.
They're innocent. They've got a pure soul, right? We're going down the lines of this here, right? But what's to say some of these poltergeists are bad? What's to say that some of them are just spirits that are trapped? That are trapped. The ones in the Enfield haunting, right? I will say that I think they were bad. I think they were lost spirits.
Definitely bad in the last week's one, yeah.
I think what I've learnt from it, because I'm still watching things in the Enfield poltergeist, and some of the Warren stuff actually that they put out, and a lot of the interviews, that the spirits actually came from the nearby graveyard.
Right.
And they actually brought it, the spirit, there was a psychic medium. I actually watched an interview with a psychic medium, and she says that the spirit that lived in that house was planted in the nearby graveyard, and he was bringing other spirits with him to that house.
Oh, right.
Yeah. And I just don't know. I just think there's something to do. I'm not saying it's council houses, but there's something to do. Why? Why do these houses have that in common? You never
another
really
thing that I find interesting as well. These, I mean, I've said this again. I've actually done a live on this before, a show on the East Drive before. And my theory then, and it still kind of is now, is these places seem to have a hyperactivity. I mean, I also said the same about Bobby Mackey's. It's as if these places, they're really haunted, terrible things happen, and then teams go in to investigate years later, usually, and they maybe get little things here and there. So that to me tells me that either you've got to have the proper energy that these spirits are attracted to, or the haunting isn't as bad as it first was, and maybe there's a portal there that's just keeping bringing different spirits and things through. Because with 30 East Drive specifically, there wasn't if you watch YouTube, there's certain YouTubers seem to have got good activity in there, and then there's other people I've went back 2 and 3 times and never got nothing. So it's definitely one of those places that you either have to be there at the right moment, or it's definitely attracted to a certain energy group. If you remember Amy for Shadowhunters UK that I interviewed, she's actually the one that's got the famous footage, because they were investigating in there one night, and that's Shadowhunters UK and Moxley, I do believe.
Yeah.
And they were in there that night, and Amy had took loads of footage, but her footage had all failed. And then she had looked in the mirror, and the demonic face had been looking back at her. So was that the spirit gloating that they had wiped all her footage?
See, that's awfully interesting, that, because it makes you, because that's weird you said that. I read something online. Right, I'm not saying where I got it, but I went online and I read something about it, and there was a full team of investigators, and they were all men.
Right.
Nothing hardly happened.
All right.
Nothing. Hardly nothing happened. But when another group went, and there was young girls with them.
Right.
When the women were with them, it all went totally, everything went mad. And I found that quite interesting, because there's something there. There's something.
Yeah.
That woman, she's obviously a wee bit older. She's probably, she's 20 odd years old. She's obviously not a teenager, right?
Mhm.
She's older, right? So why is it still? There must be something to do with women.
Yeah.
Now,
I mean,
there's
Fred's the guy's name that haunts the place, isn't
aye.
it? Fred the poltergeist. Well, I don't know if they've nicknamed him that or if they did
Mm.
find out his name was Fred. Was he somebody that had split up with his wife, or maybe through not having successful relationships or something? Maybe that is
See,
why he does picking ladies.
this is
You know?
interesting, right? This is interesting because we're talk. They say he's a black monk, right? He says a monk
Yeah.
on the grounds of the area there was a monastery. I actually researched this and I looked into this. There was a monastery nearby somewhere, but it wasn't near the house, right? It wasn't near
Right.
the house. Now, the thing is, this is where you need somebody like Neil Story to come in and research to
Yeah.
see what
Yep.
was there in
I'll
like
be
the
back.
1500s and all that, right?
Mhm.
You have to go all the way back, and that takes a lot of
There is a well
expertise to do
under
it.
the house, though, remember. There is actually a well underneath that house. There is a well
Yeah.
under, I do believe it's the living room.
So that, right, I'm going to get to that. But here's the thing. Here's the thing, right? That's interesting with the well because water contains energy, doesn't it? And you notice a lot
Yeah.
of like hauntings have evolved around water,
Yeah.
right? So it makes you wonder what's going on. I find
Mhm.
it fascinating why it's only women. Why it's
I
only
know.
women.
I'd
I've
love to
got some
know what was
pictures.
on that land, though. I mean, technically, if there was a well, that really lets you assume that there was either some sort of community nearby, or maybe there was, it was what was for the monastery or something. So if there's a well there, then it was obviously there to give water to people. So who was the people that was there
I
before the houses were built?
I did manage to find out in the area there was a few hangings
Oh,
for crimes, and this is good to remember, guys. A couple of years ago, I used to do a lot of paranormal research for a certain organisation, and then I left. And I managed to dig that up. It was in Pontefract itself. There was hangings, right? What's to say it wasn't a monk that did something to a woman, right?
hmm,
And he was hung for it.
exactly.
And it's weird you say about the well because a lot of wells, right? See in the village I'm in, there's
Mhm.
where they done the hangings. There's a well. They done them quite close in a kind of proximity of the town or the
Right.
village. So it makes you wonder. It makes you wonder: is that connected? Did they
I
throw him
know.
down the well? Did something happen? Did he do something? Did the monk do something to say somebody and they flung him down the well?
Well, see, that's the thing. And if you think back, the people that go into that house, obviously, they're paranormal investigators and different things. So maybe with him being a monk and being religious, he turns up at certain people's energy that maybe, I mean, I know I'm a witch, for example, maybe he
Yeah.
wouldn't like that. So he would maybe turn up because he doesn't like the fact that I'm a witch or something, you know?
Aye. Aye. It's
It would be interesting if we did go just to see, wouldn't it? If he did
Well,
appear.
that's what I was thinking
Then,
then. What do you think, ladies and gentlemen? Do you think Ghost Squad Scotland should do a live from there? Me, Drew, and I was hoping two others we could take. Maybe one of our subscribers we could take that stays in England. I don't know if anybody's watching this that stays in England that wants to come or no. Contact us. But anyway, I'll get hundreds and hundreds of emails now.
that's what we should do. If there's more than two people interested, we could put it all into a draw or something, you know?
Yeah. Aye, but you could. I mean, it's only £89 a night
Well,
to
that's
stay
no
there.
bad.
Look,
Hmm.
there's a lot of people out there that's like, oh yes, I'm going to be ghost hunting there and stuff like that. It's no hard to get booking there, right?
Yeah,
There's a lot of other places out there that are more haunted than that. I mean,
yeah.
look at that place we're going to be going soon next to the seaside. We can't tell you where it is, guys, because it's a
You
top
don't know
secret
it.
location, and this place is ridiculously
That'll be good.
haunted,
Yeah,
ridiculously haunted, and what happened there. That is nothing compared to what happens here at this place,
mhm,
and it's hardly ever been investigated. And we've got a chance to go there because I know where
definitely.
it is, you know,
Woo!
But we're also going to Carmichael House on Sunday, which should be interesting. We'll do a live stream from there. So if you're not subscribed, guys, remember to subscribe to Ghost Squad Scotland, or you'll not be able to see the chat. See, you'll be able to
Yep.
comment and say anything. I'll not see you
Went to
because it's,
that.
yeah, exactly. So anyway, let's look up some pictures here. We've got a lot of people have asked me what it's like in the back garden. There you go. It's
Did you
nothing
not
special.
find it interesting, Chris? Did you ever watch what's the Nick Roth? Was it Paranormal Lockdown or something? Did you ever watch the episode that him and Katrina did at the Pontefract?
No, I haven't actually.
See,
have not watched that.
he actually thinks that there's a link between the poltergeist there and that other. I can't even remember where it is, guys. If any of you know where I'm talking about, put it in the comments. But Nick Roth actually feels as if there's a connection between there and another location in America. So could there be? It's maybe jumping back and forward.
That's interesting. You say that. It
You
makes
need
you
to
wonder.
watch it, Chris. It's a very interesting episode. If anybody's in the comments, they might say more than I do in my silly brain. But yeah, he thought there was a connection.
Right, they call that poltergeist Fred, didn't they?
Yeah.
What did they call the Enfield poltergeist? Who's his name?
Well,
Was it known as Fred as well?
probably. I don't think maybe Fred did.
It was, wasn't it? Guys, in the chat last week, can you remember the Enfield poltergeist was his name Fred? I'm sure it was. I've just clicked it.
Or do they just nickname, if there's a haunting in your house and he's male, do you just assume and call him Fred?
What happens if it is connected? What happens if it is connected? What happens if
Think
this
about
isn't
it though.
what
I mean,
is?
if ley lines and things and portals and things are real,
Really
which
search
they
that,
are, then it would be so easy for a spirit, especially a poltergeist or something, to just jump back and forward wherever they feel. And everybody assumes that it's different entities, but it could really be the same entity. Who knows?
I'm just looking it up really quick. The Enfield poltergeist claims supernatural Green Street house.
Have a look at the chat, right? Iron Fire says she thinks it was Fred or Frank.
It was. I had an F. What was if it is? What was if we've just stumbled onto something here? What was if it is the same entity? What was if why the activity in that house is stopped because it's moved to a different one? And what was if it's traveling?
I do believe that some entities do that, and you assume obviously that it's different entities. But obviously there's ley lines, there's portals, and they can come and go wherever they like. So it could be the same entity, but it's weird how. And remember, all those houses have got coal in them as well.
No.
Most of them have like a coal house, or they wear coal or something. Yep. Is there something to do with coal that keeps the energies?
I think it's something more to do with the ley lines in the well and the water.
Probably, Chris. It's just weird that there's always a well and ley lines.
It's just too weird. The name Fred keeps popping up.
I know.
I mean, what was if Fred?
Sorry, people. Us in England seem to call our male ghost Fred.
Well, what happens if it's something else? What happens if it isn't a ghost? What happens if it's a demon?
Well, that's it, is it? Because think about it, demons like to play with people. I do believe that Carol that stays next door to 30 East Drive, she does know an awful lot about the house. And I don't know if she goes into the house now, but I know she used to wouldn't go in it alone.
This is what I find intriguing about this place. Things get teleported to different areas. And obviously they're most haunted, getting the knife chucked at them and stuff like that. Most haunted, guys, and I'm going to say this to you now, I don't care if I rustle feathers anywhere. Most haunted was Pish, right? And it was something that was made up. They were making stuff up in other locations and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Maybe in the very rarest occasion, they've maybe quote something. You know what I mean? But to be honest with you, most haunted were fake. Right?
You can tell when they catch something anyway, because usually she screams a really good scream, but usually she's like, oh,
I know, I can.
But when
That's
she
what
really does
really
do
annoys
something,
me.
she cleans the place down.
That's what I like about the group that you follow, Drew. They get in and they do an investigation and stuff like that, like normal ghost hunters. No start running
Yeah.
about screaming their heads
I
off.
know. What's
And
the point in doing it if you're
I
going to
know
scream?
it's. But anyway, I've got some pictures here. Anyway, we've got there's the living room area. Look at that. You can't beat the 70s style there
Pure
for you, you know.
70s.
God, I miss the 70s. Well, I wasn't there because I was born in the 80s, but
Oh, Christopher. Well, I was born in the 70s. The
my
70s.
grandmother had a couch like that. What do you think,
Yeah.
ladies and gentlemen? He's old enough to remember the 70s. I mean, it looks like a cozy wee house, doesn't it?
It does actually looks a nice wee house.
Aye,
It's
and
like a good family size house. I
yeah.
mean, that house. Imagine you did move into it and tell the spirits to go.
For the younger generation that's here, the thing on top of the dresser is called a television.
Well, look at that old TV.
It's got knobs on it.
Well, I think that's the Osmonds as well, hanging up on the poster. I
I
think it's the Osmonds.
Oh my god. I couldn't
I
help
said on my
myself.
live, I was telling Christopher before we actually came on here that on my live I did about 30s Drive. I said that what I would love to do is pull up with a moving truck, take all the furniture out and move my stuff in and see how the spirits reacted at
That's a good
somebody
idea.
actually moving into the house.
I would love
I'd
to
love
turn
to
up
see how
with
they
a
react.
crane. I would love to turn up with a crane with a big iron ball on it and say, right, that's it, Fred. You're getting evicted. We're knocking
You're
it down.
evicted. Oh, imagine that though, what would happen?
Is this no this photo here I go, is there no one of the dolls that's meant to get flung about and stuff like that in this case? There's something to
See,
do
the
with a
thing
doll.
is, a lot of people have brought haunted things to the location and left them there. So,
Mhm.
take it for example, they two dogs sitting there just now. They could have been somebody that's actually took them to the house and left them. But
Wonder what
as
happened
for original stuff, I don't know, Chris.
wonder what would happen if you take Annabelle in.
Oh. See, there's another theory opened up as well.
Yeah.
What if you did take something like that and the actual entity that's attached to that doesn't like the entity that's in the house? You could have entities that are potentially fighting. What type of energy would that conjure
There you go.
somewhere? Do you know?
Just gotta
And
go
there's
and
people who go in there
chat.
with attachments. Is that why they maybe get more activity than others? Because they're walking in there with attachments and the spirit's reacting?
I'm
You
just
just
going to
don't
read the
know.
comments. And I like to read them now. Portals are definitely real. Jacqueline Evelyn, hello. Good to see you, Jacqueline. My mystical I am
Welcome.
Firehouse. I'm just after the 60s. You'll remember that decor.
Iron
Oh
Fire
God.
saying, I don't think Fred would be up for that. I don't
Of
think he
course,
would either.
here is an
That
infamous
a lot.
picture. And the house is known as it push people down the stairs and stuff like that. And the
Yeah.
infamous stairs.
The wee girl get pulled up the stairs, I do believe, and
Mm-hmm.
also the clock get pushed down. That's a different clock.
It's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah. It's definitely a crazy place, guys, but what do you think? Do you feel as if these places have a heightened activity at the time, and then when it gets recognised as being haunted, does the entity move on? Or does it just sit dormant, waiting on the right person coming?
Or maybe it's using it to feed for. Maybe this
Yeah.
entity, whatever it is, feeds from the attention it's getting. So it'll no move for there to now because they'll think it's great because all these people keep turning up
Yeah.
to talk
Yeah.
to it.
Yeah.
Whereas it can't really turn up at the Enfield house because nothing happens there really anymore.
Yeah.
Nothing's ever been reported to happen there anymore.
See,
So
people do still catch dark shadows and things in the house.
I
I
know
don't
to the
even know
extent
what it was I watched. I
where
think it was
the
Amy
girls are
Crick.
flying.
Right.
Yeah, I mean it's of course then we've got that's the mirror, isn't it?
Oh, that looks spooky. That to me, that looks as if it could be a hotspot
It
type
looks
of
like one
area.
of
I
the
know.
energy saving. It looks like they're using one of the energy saving 3-watt light bulbs.
Probably. See, why have they got the mirror facing right up the stairs? That could make a portal for a start. Are they welcoming portals? Are they hoping that portals come? Because it would be beneficial for the business, wouldn't it?
There you go.
That's
There's
one of them.
a room for you to sleep in for the night, ladies and gentlemen.
Yep. I would give it a go. I would definitely like to go just to feel the energy for myself, just to feel as if there's hot spots. They do say that the coal house is a hot spot, though.
Yeah.
A lot of people, if they go into the coal house and they turn the lights off and they close the door and things, that they get touched.
That's
and
right.
whatever.
That was. I'm going to mention them again. That was Most Haunted, but the guy was locked in and he came out and he was all covered in coal dust and he was going, "Oh, help me! Help me!" Look, I'm going to say this right. The place is haunted, guys, but obviously folk that own the house are going to say like this and it's got demonic demons hanging out windows and all that kind of stuff, just so as they can get the money out of you.
Yeah,
I think there's more places deserving a major investigation than that place.
Yeah, it's not that as a viewer, you do get fed up seeing the same locations over and over again. You do get fed up.
I was watching the TV the other night. I thought, right, I'll have a wee look. It goes, we're going to the end. Wasn't it? We're going to 30s. This place, right? And then they were going. They go to the same places hour and hour and hour again. That's what I like about that Neil Stories TV series that he's in. Remember, check it out. It's called Help My Home Is Haunted. Because they go to different people's houses, and I don't think
he's in the celebrity one, guys. So he'll be going to. He goes to different famous people's houses. It's haunted.
I see. Here's the thing, right? I don't think this is doing any favors for people. These investigations at these places.
Right.
Think about it. Do you think it's doing more harm than good?
Oh, definitely.
Because I think if they'd left that house, eventually it would dissipate. It's just.
Think about it as well, Chris. I mean, is there cameras in there to keep an eye on people?
No.
Because somebody could have went in and cleansed the place, or did a ritual to actually cross the spirits over or things. So if people have done anything like that, then the place maybe isn't haunted anymore. But obviously, to make money, they're going to have to say that it is. Well, but you just don't know what's all been done in there.
If you're going to
more portals.
If you're going to TripAdvisor, there's loads of folks say you can't get insurance for the night there. You can't get insurance for that. Look, I don't think anything bad's going to happen to you staying there. Right? You might see an apparition there, a dark shadow moving about the place and stuff like that. But as I was mentioning this to somebody today, says I'm going to do a talk about this, and I was talking to them on Facebook, and they're like, "Oh, you better watch what you're doing. I seen a man get chased with a knife once." And I says, "You seen a man get chased with a knife?" And they're like, "Well, no, really. It was in that thing, Most Haunted." I says, "That's a load of absolute shit. It is. It's made up shit." You remember that thing that the BBC put out? Remember it? It was, oh God, was it the early 90s? Remember everybody got scared of it, and it was a studio, and it was taken off the air and stuff like that because it was too scary.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. I can't remember what it's called.
That was based on that place. Did you know that?
That was based on
that. And that was totally made up.
It was totally made up. It was an experiment they did, wasn't it?
You see how many folk they could fool. You see how many folk they could fool.
It was terrifying.
I just think there's more locations around the country that are more deserving in investigation
definitely
than these places.
It's just been done too many times. I would love to experience it for myself, just to have seen if maybe the energy was still there, because you would obviously feel it. And maybe it would pick on me because I'm a witch and it's meant to be like a man of God.
Well, you think about that place that we're going to in a month soon, right? When the hot weather comes in near the seaside, as I say. The backstory of that is it's got a very dark story. There was over 1,000 people eaten. Cannibals.
Yeah, the cannibals.
Right? There was people cooked alive and their skin was peeled off them.
That's going to be crazy, to be honest with you. Think of all those lost souls.
a lot of the public go to it, but there's actually a different way into it, which I know about because I know the farmer that owns the land round about it.
Right.
So
There's a
it's
lot of farmers.
I do know a lot of farmers actually. Arr. That's not my pirates one, you know. But it's that place has been done, right? I mean, I've got that picture, the one with the mirror. This was in the Herald, right?
Right.
The one with the Herald. I mean, what's your opinion of that? Do you not think he's
Yes.
wearing like a kind of? Do you think he looks like he's
Poor
wearing like
girl.
an afro? Do you think he's got like an afro kind of style there, 70s style?
It either looks like a lady or it does look like a man for the 70s with his hair all long.
Well, in the paper, it's saying in the paper, you're allowed to use these photos, by the way, if it's a news article. And it's saying it's a monk, right? That's not a monk. Maybe does look like a monk with his hood up, but that's hair, right? It looks
That's
like
hair.
it looks like he's got a what do you call it? It looks like he's got
a shaggy hairdo.
it looks like somebody for the 70s.
Yeah,
Hey, Christine,
it's
good to see you in the chat. It's good to see you in the chat there, Christine.
Welcome, Christine.
But it's again, I think there is spirits there, but I don't think they're as bad as they were. Let's face it, since the girl was put up the stairs, right? Has it happened again?
No.
Do you think there was, and the same as the Enfield poltergeist, I do think there was a bit of exaggeration involved.
Yeah, I believe that. I believe that a lot of these places were hyped away. There was something going on, but I think once the ghost hunting epidemic hit, it was hyped up so that they could pull the money in and things, especially with 30s Drive. And then it's just a hit and a miss whether there's something there or not.
Yeah, I think the hype again. I think it's just, you know, there's so many more interesting. Look, there's places all over the world, right? And you see the Ghost Adventurers, and you see all these famous teams going to the same place over and over and over and over again. I was talking to somebody that went to the.
I know what I've just thought of, Chris.
What?
Nobody ever goes up in the attic. I have never seen a ghost hunter yet go up in that attic. Why is that?
There you go. I think is Brian J. Lovett, is he not going to it? I think he's doing a thing.
Ask Brian to go up the attic because I've never seen anybody go up the attic yet.
I think they should look Brian up there for an hour to see what happens, you know.
Brian, don't ever go with Christopher ghost hunting. He's going to look you in somewhere for sure.
It's an experiment. It's an experiment. You'll be fine. We'll give you one of the wee torches, one of the wee turny ones at the bottom. You'll be fine. You know, or a flashy cat's ball. You can
worry for me, guys. Worry for me. You can find me locked in a dungeon somewhere.
Oh, there you go. There's Jacqueline Evelyn. I think that what's that? The Uji brothers went into the attic.
Right. Oh, did they go in? Right. Okay.
Well,
right. Because I was just thinking, I don't think I've ever seen anybody go up the attic. And the reason I was saying that was because coins and things and marbles are very famous in that house. Marbles appear from nowhere.
See, that's interesting you say that, right? The poltergeist cases throughout the world are notorious for throwing stones. Well, stones just appearing out of nowhere, appearing out the sky. I was actually watching a thing the other night. I did watch a lot of paranormal stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know that or no, but there was a thing on, and it was a priest, and he was talking about, he was an exorcist. He was an exorcist for Rome. He was a top exorcist, and he was saying he was called to a house. He was called to a house, and he was actually, his friend was another priest, and the old woman says, "Listen, the stones keep hitting my house, landing in the house." So he comes round, and he's standing outside, and he heard tink, and he looked round, and there was a stone landed right next to him. It was blue skies.
See, that's crazy.
And then it was tink, and he looked round, and another one appeared, and he was trying to figure out where he was looking all around about me. He went round about the property, all on its own. It's in the middle of nowhere. It was like a farmhouse somewhere. I think it was the Warrens stood there. Oh, where was it? Oh, famous for witches.
Oh, Salem.
No, Salem. It was the same. Connecticut,
right?
Connecticut. Lived in Connecticut, and he's like, "What's going on here?" And he put a chair out and he just sat there, and he actually seen a stone appear in the sky and drop.
Wow.
And he says to the woman, he says, what's going on here? And he says, well, it's weird because when my granddaughter comes to stay, all of this happens. But when she goes away, nothing happens.
Right.
And he blessed the house and all that, and it stopped. It stopped. But what he thinks is, whatever it is attracted again to the younger side,
To
the younger
female
females.
innocence.
I think it's some type of phenomenon. I don't think it's to do with the. I think it's to do with demonic. I think there is demonics in this. I think there is demonics involved in this. And
Yeah.
that's why you have to be very careful when you're
Mhm.
dealing with this kind of stuff.
Yeah,
Very
definitely.
careful. Was that in the chat there? I'm just reading.
There's
that
another
first.
theme then. Has it attached itself to somebody that's went into that house and it's away with them? I mean,
That's
you
the
never
thing.
know.
Yeah. That's the thing. It could be. It could attach itself to you. I just like to check the chat for time then, because there's a lot of people
Come
in
on, everybody. My phone is at
Facebook.
4%, guys. I'm going to try and put my tablet
Oh,
on.
plug your thingy, my bobber, in there.
Oh, it is in, Chris. The phone's goosed, honestly. I need to try and get a new battery for it.
But it'll be fine. Yeah, I mean, it'll be quite interesting where we go on Sunday. That place is active. It's very active. That Carmichael house.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, some people drive to it, but you have to know the estate if you want to drive to it. Okay, I mean,
It's
because
hard
they
to
do
get
lock the
to if
gates.
you didn't know, isn't it?
Yeah, you need to watch your day. I know the estate people that own it, so I'm kind of lucky that way. So should be able to get to it
But you
fine.
can't blame them though, Chris, because the building is still standing. It's in great condition for it being abandoned. So we want to protect it. We feel as if we want to protect the place. We don't want other teams going in and stirring things up, or young people going in and putting graffiti and everything everywhere.
Well, that's
It's a
the
nice
estate look after it.
location to start with.
I think, like this, what you call it, 30s Lane, I think it's active, but I think it's got friendly spirits.
Yeah.
Friendly, very friendly. And I think there'll be quite a lot of evidence. Obviously, Drew will be on camera quite a lot on Sunday, guys, because I'll be following her about. What do you mean? I'm filmed it.
We're making sure that you're getting some questions out this
Alan's
time.
not got to be there. Alan's not looking near me in case he catches. He's fearing in case he catches COVID, even though I've not had it for about a month. But there you go.
He's a wee soul.
Aye, so I think it'll be interesting. But that place that we're going near the sea, that's really.
That's going to be crazy. We will need to put protection and everything up when we go there, guys. That's going to be one of the ones that we need to really be careful.
Aye. You got to remember a lot of the bodies were never retrieved. They were just thrown straight into the sea.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And there's actually particles of bone if you know where to look, what I've been told to go. So
it actually reminds me of that American case. Is it the man that made the furniture and things out of skin and things? That's what it reminds me of.
Oh my God.
It reminds me of that type of haunting no haunting, but that type of situation where the man was killing people and he was making furniture out their skin and everything. That's how gory this case is, guys, that we're going to go to.
Aye, it's scary to think. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's scary to think.
Though. Especially on Sunday when we go back to Carmichael House and when we tell the spirit that we actually caught it on camera, and we ask him if he's going to want to come down and have a conversation and things with us. That'll be really interesting to see if we can
it's
get
a little
the spirit
boy
to come out.
Yeah, that's a little boy that's in that place. I mean, we're planning on going a lot of places, guys. I mean, we're going to be going a lot of locations this year. A lot of locations. I ken places around about here that nobody has investigated, and the place is extremely haunted. And you know, as I say, it's amazing what we'll find. It's a shame that none of our lucky subscribers stay near us, because they could have came with us, you know.
I know.
But there's actually, is it Stonehouse? Well, I want to go to Stonehouse Castle today.
Yeah, we could go down there as well. That's the thing is, see, Stonehouse. Stonehouse is one of those places that's like a hidden little gem. That cemetery I was in as well, it is very active. I think it's because they're not used to people going ghost hunting
Yeah.
in these type of places. So when you go in and you approach the spirits, they're willing to talk to you because nobody's ever done it before or gave them the
Yeah.
attention before.
This is what needs done. See all these TV programs talking about like this East Drive and all these famous locations that people just keep going by for. It's kind of like Greyfriars, right? Everybody goes there. Everybody goes there, right? I mean, I'm amazed that there's energy left in there, right?
And
I ken somebody that was away there the other day. Right? I ken
right,
somebody that was away there, and it was on a tour, right?
right.
Haunted Edinburgh, right? And they're like, I just never felt a thing all the way through it. And doing the tombs and all that, I never felt one thing. And this person's kind of a medium kind of thing, and I never felt a thing. And I ken exactly what that is. Too many folk are gone and absorbing it all.
That's it. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that is what's wrong. All these TV programs, that is what they've all got wrong. They need to go to different locations to experience new things.
Yeah. See, what
Right.
really intrigues me about that, about the vaults and things, is the part that's still an active coven. Have you ever seen it where there's like a little, it's like a little shop, essentially, but it's really where they used to have like a witchy coven, and you can
didn't ken
actually
that.
still go in and take a
Really?
seat
I didn't
in
ken
there
that.
and pay homage to them. So I would love to go there and introduce myself as my witchy name. Hello, I'm Athena. And introduce myself to all the spirits in that place and say I also am a practicing
Right.
witch.
I want to go to Stirling
talk to them.
Castle. I would
Hmm.
say Stirling Castle and the church below it is more interesting than Edinburgh.
Oh
Because
yes.
Edinburgh, I've been to
Yes.
Edinburgh Castle. Listen, guys, if you watch things about castles, you want to go, if you're ever in Scotland, to Stirling Castle. Stirling Castle is
If
a
this cuts out,
million
guys, I'm
times
so
better.
sorry. It's like 0% right now.
Is
I'm
it?
so sorry if it cuts off. I have
If
got
it
it on
cuts
the
off ever,
power bank
you know,
as well. Look, it's just the battery's goosed. I need to try and get a new one off the internet. Or
is it?
something.
It should.
It's
It should
holding
be
tight
alright.
just now.
It should be fine. It should be fine. It should be fine. We sat there jiggling them. Then every Ram and that's an interesting place. The Ram Inn.
Yeah.
The
See, there's
Ram Inn.
another place that's overdone.
Aye. What is that? The succubus and incubus. You better watch yourself,
Yes.
Brian. If you're watching that, you don't go there, and something might happen to you.
Yeah, I think that I actually do think that the ancient Raman, out of all the famous places to go, it would be the ancient Raman for me. I would pick, and the reason that was because of the witchcraft connection again. I want to feel to see if the spirits and things do recognise that in people when you walk into a location. I'd love to hear it, you know, just to see if the spirits do know without mentioning it.
So I'm going to say this out loud, if there's any paranormal investigators in Scotland would like to meet up with me and Drew to go to a certain location that is very haunted, what I've been told,
Very dark.
do contact me through either Ghost Squad Scotland or contact me through YouTube, and we'll see what we can do, because the more the merrier. I would say about 4 or 5 people would be quite good going there, because where it is kind of dodgy to get to, you know what I mean? But it's you need a car. You need a car to get to it. And there's so many places that we've got to be going, guys. It's just amazing. I mean, this house, I would like to go there just to experience it.
Yeah.
But to be purely honest with you, I don't think there's really anything there anymore. It might make a cat ball flash. It might do this. It might do that. But I think it's been overdone. It's like all these places, the Enfield poltergeist, the bloody this poltergeist, that poltergeist, it's been overdone.
Yeah.
See this place we're talking about next week. This place has never been investigated, and I've not researched it yet. I've no fully researched yet.
Honestly, if you don't want to watch anything ever again, definitely keep an eye out on all the stuff we've got coming up about the different poltergeist houses and different energies of Scotland, because there's a few wee hidden gems there that people don't realise.
There's places I know very close to like Edinburgh that are known for the Knights Templars and stuff. I'm not talking about Roslyn Chapel. I'm not talking about Roslyn
Yeah.
Castle. I'm talking about other places that don't get talked about that much.
Mm.
That's, oh my God, these places are like old graveyards that are extremely haunted. They've seen orbs at night and strange
Wow.
things. But this is where we're going, you see. But obviously, we'll do the video first, then we'll tell you about it, because obviously I don't want folk punching. Oh, have we lost Drew, ladies and gentlemen? Have we lost her? Drew! I think it's happened. I think her battery has died. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I think you should take a picture of that, guys. What do you think? What do you think of that? I think we've lost her. That's it. She's off into the void, into the darkness. Her phone has died. Oh my God. Oh. She's got you're definitely right, my mystical love and light. She's definitely gone. It's good to see you, Sherry. It's good to see you there. I know. She'll probably not be back, guys, because our internet's gone to, I think, and our phones. Maybe it's the black monkey, the Pontefract poltergeist has took her. She's getting dragged up the stairs as we speak. You know? But it's I just don't know, guys. I just think craziness. See the strange things that happen. It's weird that her phone wouldn't charge her. Maybe it is her battery that's away, but frozen in space, Iron Firehorse, you know. So, guys, where location in the chat would you like us to talk about? We've got obviously we're doing that poltergeist case next Wednesday, but for next Friday, where would you like us to talk about? Come on, pick a location, guys, for me in the chat. Pick a location so as we can talk about it. It is a bit weird. It is, Sherry. You're right about that. It is weird. So, what location in the United Kingdom or the United States would you like us to talk about? What about? I'm not talking about Bobby Mackey's because that place has been overdone and all. The tunnels under Edinburgh. Already done that one. Already done the tunnels under Edinburgh. That place that's been done more times than God knows what. You know, sorry, we can do America too. Would you want us to talk about? Do you want us to talk about somewhere haunting in Connecticut? Do you want us to talk about that, or do you want? Where would you like to go, guys? I will do next Friday. Anywhere in the world, where would you like us to talk about? The tunnels in Edinburgh. That's the thing. I've done the tunnels in Edinburgh, and it's all right. Edinburgh's all right, but it's no as special as people think it is. Stephanie, I live close to Bobby Mackey's. See, I've always wanted to, if I ever went to America, I would like to investigate Bobby Mackey's, right? But as again, the stories behind it. See, if you research Bobby Mackey's about there being a woman murdered and her head thrown down the well and all that, that never happened. That never happened. It's all hype to sell tickets. So as you go there, it's like 30s. It's like 30s lane, right? It's some of it's made up. So is the sale stuff, you know. Mike the Naked Bigfoot. Do you know something? That's Mike's son in the chat, guys. And I would like to say thank you. That I've never. Oh my God, I've tears because the squares in Savannah. Do you know something? Saying it's you. I don't know what your first name is, by the way. I don't know what your first name is, and I know it's Mike's son. That's what we'll do. We'll do that next week. We'll talk about that. If you would like, you can come on if you want. If you know anything about your dad, you don't need to. You don't need to. What do you call it? Show your face or anything. You're welcome to come on. That's that's made my day. That's made my day. Mike, the Naked Bigfoot son, coming on because that's just fantastic. Pete, is that your name? Well, it's very nice to meet you, Pete, and you're welcome anytime to come on the show and talk about your dad, because your dad was so knowledgeable. Your dad come on this channel a lot, and he come on Bald and Bonkers. He come on this channel a lot, and it honestly, your dad was such an amazing person. He really was. And again, I was thinking about him the night. I was actually watching some of his. I was watching some of Mike the Naked Bigfoot's film videos tonight, and I was actually watching the Skinner Man stories, guys. Check out Mike the Naked Bigfoot's channel if you haven't subscribed. I can use all already, but see the Skinner Man stories. Absolutely amazing. And there's Christine. She was a really good friend of Mike's too. And contact me, Pete, on what do you call it? You know, I'm Christopher anyway. I talk to you all the time on Twitter. And honestly, you're welcome to join us. And you could tell us some of your dad's stories, because oh my god, your dad was so knowledgeable. He was just so knowledgeable. The stuff that he knew. I mean, everybody in the chat there knew your dad really well, and honestly, it was, I when he died, I was heartbroken. I really was, and I know a lot of people in the chat, like PWI Spiritual Investigator Sherry and Christine, and a lot of people there. They were heartbroken, because he was such a nice man, and he used to tell us, see the stories. See, I can remember the funniest side of your dad that I ever seen, and people in the chat will think with us, was the night that me and Dakota, I actually messaged Dave Schrader. Dave Schrader was on the show, and I says, listen, could Mike come in and meet you? Do you know I've never seen your dad as polite? He never swore once. I'd never seen anything like it in my entire life. It was, yes, Mr. Schrader. Yes, Mr. I'm shocked. But that was, it was so, that's what I'm going to do. Next Friday, we'll talk about, Pete was telling, we'll talk about that. That's what we'll do. And honestly, thank you so much, Pete, by the way, for coming in. And honestly, that's brilliant. Because everybody in the chat, that's cheered Christine up, I think, in the chat, because Mike used to do like special lives on Twitter, and it'd be like a radio show, and oh god, it was only Dave Schrader could curb Dad's. Oh my god, I was like, I was shocked. I was like, I've never seen him when he first came in. See if you'd seen his face. He was like, that's what he was like. That's what he's like. And I'm like, Mike, are you all right, Mike? And he had for 5 minutes he never moved. I was just in shock. But he was honestly, your dad was awesome, and I'm sorry for your loss. But again, something I know he's with us all. He's with us all, and he would want us all to talk about him and stuff like that, because he was such an amazing man. And the things that me and Mike would talk about stuff at night, I would talk to him through Twitter. And so see some of the things your dad would tell me. Oh my god! See some of the things he sent me pictures of, like knives that he collected and things that he did, and it's amazing. What's that? Yeah, and he deserved it. He did, Pete. He did. He honestly deserved it, because I'm still waiting your dad's book coming out. I don't know when that's coming out, but I hope it'll be out soon, because that'll be amazing. Your dad's story that he told about how he tried to prolong the woman's life and stuff, like, I was brokenhearted watching that interview with Dave Schrader. I really was. And I think he's with us all watching this, Pete. Honestly, is. He's with us all watching this. I don't know. I don't know where that's coming from. I can feel it. He's, you know, And I was actually watching one of his videos tonight. I was watching that Skinner Man, and then I was watching his coming home video when he was coming back from hospital. And I says, Mike, I says, give us a sign that you're there. And then this happened tonight, which is very strange. Very strange. Ladies and gentlemen, there's that's Sherry. Sherry was very friendly with Mike. And so was Drew, my co-host on tonight. She was extremely friendly with Mike. And honestly, that's what we'll talk. We'll talk about that location that you mentioned tonight, Pete, next Friday. And if you would like to join us, you're welcome to come on and tell us what you know about the area and things. You don't need to show your face like this. You can turn your camera off. But I think it'd be awesome. You could come up here, Mike the Naked Bigfoot. You have made my day, Pete. You really have. I'm shocked, and it's just awesome. It really has. It is my mystical love and light. It's awesome, isn't it? That he come in, Mike the Naked Bigfoot come in, because it's sad. It really is sad. But do you know something? He would have wanted this. He would have wanted us all to talk about him and, things that it's weird because where I'm sitting now, I'm off cold all of a sudden. It's weird. Right? It's weird. I just feel like there's somebody with us. It's strange if they're there, Mike. Thank you. And thank you, Pete, for coming on. And Christine, yeah, it's Christine there. But honestly, Pete, message me. I'll message you, Pete, on your dad's profile on Twitter. If you're interested coming on, I'll put you the link through there and we can talk things if you want to talk about the location. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming tonight. And I'm just blown away that Mike's son came in. That's made my day. Do you know I'm going to be extremely happy tonight? I just don't know. That's better than winning the lottery, guys. This is better than winning the lottery. Is getting a message like that. That's just weird. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we'll have a fantastic weekend. And look out for strange creatures and unknown things, that lurk in the night. And you never know what could happen. Like Pete there, amazing. Thank you again. And honestly, guys, have a fantastic weekend. And next Friday, we will be talking about that location Pete talked about. And we will go into great detail. And thank you for my mod, Mystical Love and Light, for doing her duties in the chat. Thank you very much. And look for Sunday. Remember, check out the Bald and Bonkers show, guys, because we're going to be talking about some real interesting subjects on Saturday night and Sunday night. And obviously, we've got Ghost Squad Scotland live at Carmichael House. So anyway, guys, take care. Have a fantastic night and see you all soon. Bye-bye.
Thank you for joining us on this exciting adventure with Ghost Squad Scotland. Our team of experienced ghost hunters use the latest technology to explore the paranormal and uncover the truth about the unknown. Don't forget that we're affiliated with Spirit Shack, the UK's premier ghost hunting equipment store, so you can trust our equipment to be top-notch. Plus, we have exclusive Ghost Squad Scotland merch available on our Zazzle store, so you can show your support for the team in style. And if you can't get enough of our ghost hunting adventures, be sure to tune into the Bald and Bonkers TV network to catch our show in action. Content creators can even have their own content syndicated on the network, or create their own custom online TV channel by visiting baldandbonkers.net. Thank you for your support. And remember to always keep an open mind as we continue to explore the mysteries of the paranormal with Ghost Squad Scotland.